this is my tutorial for my tight knit bracelet. It's actually more of a technique than new design or anything like that. It's more in the patterns that you make, and you can go crazy with this. I make my own patterns. I just use graph paper and just kind of play around with that. But you could do needlepoint patterns. You could do perler bead patterns. Friendship bracelets have really cool patterns that you could use. So this was my initial. This was the first one I did. That where I kind of got the style from. And this one is what I'm going to be showing you today. I'm going to do another tutorial for this one. This is a little bit different. But these actually use the same exact number of bands, and they're the same number of rows. This one just lays flatter and spread out more. This one is tighter and it's a little bit thicker, like this way. So whatever your preference is. I go back and forth. I like them wider like that, but I like how this is thick like that. So you could also do letters, and I'm going to do some, I'm going to show you the end of the patterns that I use for some of these bracelets. This is my favorite. For now anyway, it changes. But this, I am in love with this one. Just the Argyle pattern. I just love that. So I'll show you the patterns. And I don't know if you can screenshot them or just give you an idea how they look on paper. And at the very, very end, I'll show you some troubleshooting techniques just in case you get messed up a little bit. That way you won't have to start all over again. So let's get started. So also I want to say these two are 4 rows. These to here, all these are 5 rows. This one uses LE bands, so it's a little bit wider. This one is 6 rows. And these right here are 7 rows. This one is 11. This one here. This one's 11. And this monster is 13. And this uses the whole loom. And I don't recommend it because I just worry about your loom. I don't want you to break your loom because it does creak a lot. If you do the 13, I would definitely not use any other bands but the regular RainbowLoom because they're very stretchy. So these are with jellies. But that's the 13. So use caution if you do 13. That's all I have to say. So now let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need a design. So you can go on, I know there's a place on the internet, like bracelets.com or .net or something like that, where you can get designs for bracelets. You can look up like friendship bracelets, their designs. I like to make my own just because I can play around with colors and stuff, and I use graph paper. And for this graph paper, there is 2 sides. You can see it very well. This side's a little bit bigger than this side. So just make sure if you are making your own design, you're using graph paper, that you pay attention to the size, because usually once you start making the bracelets you're going to do, like I know that on the small side, this is 55 across of the squares, and that is like perfect size for my bracelets. So once you figure out how many you would use, then that's a good way to judge it. Now I play around a lot, and I do a lot of, it's where and some of these I've made the bracelets, some they didn't look so good, so I didn't use them. So this one right here is the one I'm going to do today. I actually already made this one. I was trying different color schemes. Excuse me. I was trying to do see with the black or the white. And I really want to try this pattern again. And I really like that hot pink. That's like one of my favorite colors because it just stands out so much. But the yellow doesn't stand out as much on the white. And this white is the glow in the dark. So it looks really cool when you turn off the light because you get the pattern going through there. So we are going to do this one. But I'm going to do white for the background, and I'm going to do hot pink and purple for where the yellow is. So let's get started. Okay, now for the loom setup, you're going to take 2 of the rows or 2 rows of pins. And I like to make the little thing face, the opening face me. So I do it in the middle. And then the other one is going to be the same, facing the same exact way, right next to it. Like that. And then I use a smaller one just to hold the back end. So this one that we're doing is 5 rows. So I'm going to be using 10 pins. I'll probably be using these 10 right here. So if you're making a bigger one, of course you're going to need to move this back some more. Like this one is 13. This is the whole row. And I did at the last 3, because when it comes through like narrow. So you don't need it to be exactly like when it comes through, I'll show you. Okay. So to begin, got my colors. Alright, so usually I do clear for my beginning part, but because I've had a few people mention that they don't like it when I use the clear because it doesn't show up. And also I covered my zebra print so it doesn't come through either. And hopefully that'll help a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to do white because that's the color for my base. Okay, so like I said, this is 55 across. If you have a smaller one, you might want to measure out. It'd be good if you did it like a smaller bracelet, like a three-row one, just to get a feel for how much you need across. This right here, 55, is 7.5 inches long. So just figure out, how much less you need. I don't know if that'll help at all. Do some math. I'm not good at math. So this is 7.5, and this is actually a little bit big on me, just a tiny bit, because once I do the ends, it makes it a little bit bigger. So it's good to do a smaller one just to figure it out first, but I'm going to show you for this tutorial how to do on 5. So like I said, I'm going to be using these 10 pins. So you're going to find your center, and you're going to crisscross it like that. Then for these 4 pins, I'm going to crisscross across those right there. I was doing these on every single one, but it comes out really big, so I like it if it's not as many end ones. So do that one for the same. So these are going to be like your cap bands. Okay, so one of the things I've learned with my pattern is that the first row always looks a little funky because it's so close to the beginning. So I do like to do like 1 row of a solid color. So I'm just going to do white because, maybe I'll do black. Let's do black because it'll show up better. Sorry, I needed some black. Okay, so this is what you're going to be doing every single row as far as laying down the bands. So the middle one, you're going to go to the middle one and you're going to cross it over like that, so it's doubled up on there. Then for each one across, you just do it just like that. Like that. Now, you're going to take your hook and you're going to go inside the middle double banded one, and you're going to grab the next one over and pull it over like that. So same thing, you're going to go in here, grab that band, and pull it across. You're going to flip it and do the same thing for the other side. Grab that, like that. Grab that. So now all of these are connected. So now you're going to take those bottom bands, because these are the cat band like thingies. I'm going to bring them up and over to the center. And make sure you go over all. See how that goes over that band? So it's over. So that's what you should look like in the very beginning. You kind of push it down with your finger. Now I'm going to start my pattern. So let's see. Let's do purple, my 2 color, and pink, my 1 color. So actually, it goes there. You're going to start here, and since 2 is purple, that goes on top. Then these 3 are white. So you're going to remember to, for the very center one, you're going to double it. It's hard to do not picking it up. Okay. It's white, and then that bottom one is your 1 color. And now you're going to do the same thing you did before. Go through that center, double banded one. Grab the next one over. Go under. And grab that. Flip it around. Cross like that. And like that. So now you have the 2. See how it's like that? There's 2 rows on both sides. So you're going to bring the bottom double banded over to the center. Same thing for that. And you're just going to go down. Grab them all over into the center. So if you are doing more than 5, 7 I think looks really good. I really like this one, but it took forever and a lot of bands. I have another one I'll show you at the end that, well, I showed you before, that I really like. Sorry for the coffee, I'm still a little sick. Okay, so what I do is I just do a little mark underneath that row so I know I did it. And with this pattern, once you figure out the pattern, then it's easy. You don't really need this as much, but I definitely need it because I don't follow directions very well. Or I can't figure it out on my own, so I have to do it. Okay, so this is 2 pink. That's my 1 color. And then my center one is going to be white, which is doubled. Always double the center one. And then 2 purple. So you're going to go in the center, grab it and pull it over. Like that. So it's just the same thing over and over again. Once you have this down, it's a breeze. Pull that bottom one up over into the center. Initially when I did this, I doubled the bottom row and I just connected them all from there, and I think I made it a little crooked. So I started doing from the center. That's why I like doing an odd number of bracelet or rows. So I'm going to keep going and I'll show you what it looks like in a few minutes. And then okay, so I'm at row 17. And this is what it's looking like. And it's coming through here, and I resisted the urge to pull until I could show you. Now you don't want to yank too hard, but you pull through. This is where I get a little sketched out, because that doesn't pull as tight. But once you get it off, you can smooth it out. But here's the pattern coming through. So cool. Okay, so I decided to stop my pattern instead of doing 55 to the end. I did it to 49 of my pattern, but I still had my first row, which was the black row, so that's 50. And then I'm doing my last one is a row of black. So I did my last row black and I connected all these, and you're gonna bring them over just like before. Okay. Now I did it with 3 ends, 3 white bands for the ends. So 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to do 3 for this side. So I'm going to double up this one right here and bring this one to that peg. Carefully. And then bring this one to here, like that. Okay, and usually I use the clear for my beginning end, but because the white, so you can see better. So I did white, I'm going to do white again. And you're just going to put these across here. And you're going to bring these bands over to the middle. So very carefully. So those are all onto that band. It's best to grab them carefully and instead of all wobbling thing. Okay. Now once they're all in the middle, you bring this over to the side. I found if you're right-handed, it's better to bring it to the right. If you're left-handed, bring it to the left. It's much easier to get the C-clips on the hand you're dominant with. So I'm going to add C-clips to here, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay. So once you have the C-clips on there, pull it through, and here's the final. In the end, you're going to give a little, very careful, because you got your C-clips on there. I always say be careful, and it looks like I'm like being not careful. Okay. So I did add 3 C-clips to the other end, to the first end. And let's see how that comes around right here. I like that. So what I just started doing, let's see if I can do this on here. I did like a double band for the center, and then I bring the other ones across it, so it's like connecting them a little bit. So it makes it a little bit tighter. If you do straight across, it like flares out a little bit. It's the only thing I haven't like totally figured out with this bracelet yet. But I do like how this works out. So let's see if I can do it. So you're going to double a band. And put it on the C-clip. I should do it on camera. Grab that center one. Like that. See, look how big that is. Okay. So now, this is just the way I do it. And usually the way I do things changes. So right now, this is what I'm liking. So I've got it on there like that. and I pull this through, not like that. And put it on like that. This is why I do like the clear better, because it doesn't show up as much. And I think this bracelet's really hard to bling, so you could probably bling that part. Let's see. So I'm glad I didn't do it as, I'm glad I took off some of the things. Yeah, that's not so bad. That's kind of cool, actually. So there we go. That's the fibro. Alright, so we have finished our bracelet, and it's all good to go. I showed you all the different things you can do. I think it looks like a friendship bracelet. I love it. Here we go. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I don't know if this is going to help or not. If you guys want to make the same design, if you can take a screenshot maybe. So this one I did to here. This is when I was really concerned that my pattern like end up connecting around to the other side. Now I don't do that so much. I'd rather be able to wear it. So this is, like I said, 50. I guess that'd be 54. So there's that one. And then this one, which is actually for autism awareness. And my first one, is it out here? This is my first one. And I didn't like how it just didn't look as, I wanted these longer. So I did this one. And I like this one much better. But I was thinking that needs one more row down here. So this is what it would look like if I did one more row, which I think that would balance it out more. So there's the pattern for that one. And if you guys do this, please send me a picture on Instagram, hashtag #SCL, because I'd really like to see this if you guys do this. So that's that one. This is probably my favorite. I love this one a lot. Now this one is, I think 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 11. So that one. See how you start with the black rows first. So this is a way I can do my pattern like full, and then I can add little extra rows if I only want a few more. So say my pattern's like 45, and I don't want to start another one because it wouldn't end up. So I love this one. Love, love. Alright. So this one was my monster, and I had to try it before I did the tutorial to see if it could be done. And it can be done. I've also tried this with limited edition bands, and it makes your loom creak a lot, which made me very nervous, so I would suggest doing regular bands with this. And this one does, it strains your loom a lot, so if your loom is hanging on, or if it's broken at all, I wouldn't do it. Like I have one row that's broken, I wouldn't do it on there. And like when you set up the loom for this one, like I said, it comes through narrow. So you can do it like this, but just be very careful when you're looming to don't let, too much pressure go on either side, that you're holding on to it as you go. And it will make your loom go in a little bit like that. Just be careful. So that's my caution if you do the big one. The 11 or 9 is a little bit safer, so I suggest doing those, but I had to see if I could do it. So that is the pattern for that one. So like I showed you in the beginning, you can do letters also. You can look at like needlepoint patterns or perler bead patterns if you want. This is just one that I tried to work out. There's a few kinks in it, like the R is kind of funky. But you definitely, my preference is any lines that go this way need to be doubled. And then the ones that go this way can be, that's fine, just leave it like that. So I tried my first one. I started and I was doing just a single row this way. And so I think that looks a lot better. And this was done with Ellie bands, which I think, I mean, it's way stronger, but they don't have a lot of give. So your loom will creak a lot. So I wouldn't trust that for a big project. I don't know if I'll do it again just because it made me a little nervous with my loom. So there's the alphabet. Okay, some little tricks. If you're wondering what row you're on, you go by what's on the side here. And that's how you tell what one you just did. The inside row would be the one that was right before that. So if you notice that you made a mistake and you need to take off the row, you're going to go in here and pull all the previous up over like this. Pull that over. The center one. So all the ones right before. So that's why it's always a good idea to check your pattern as you go. Get off there. And I can't even tell you how many times I've had to do this, even during the tutorial. Especially because I'm trying to go fast and get it done. Okay, so once you have them all back over, you would just pull this off. So if you saw that's a third row, then you just keep going down until you get to the row that you need to fix. So, and it's always good to check, like in here, you can see this will be the outside ridge. So this would be the color previous, and then the one on the pegs is the next one. I don't know if that makes sense. But I'm always checking to see what the pattern is for the side. So that's how you take off a row. So now I'm going to show you how to, if you take the bracelet off and you realize there's a mistake in the middle and you can't live with it, I'll show you how to fix it. Okay, so if you get your bracelet off and you realize that you made a mistake and you really want to fix it, I'm using this example because I started this and I didn't really care for the pattern as much. So I take paper clips and I just bend them out. So I have one for each row in the bracelet, and this one is 5, so I need 5. So you're going to stretch. So let's say I want to take out that purple. So I would go to the row right before it, and you stretch it out and go through like that. Then you go to the next color. It helps to stretch. It's really hard to stretch just because it's wound or woven so tight. Like that. And this is just if you mess up or if you want to change something in there and you don't want to have to start all over. Okay, so once they're in there, so I don't think that one's in there very good. Got that one, got that one. See, they kind of go up into the next color because they're woven so tight. Okay, so I'm pretty sure we got them all. And then you pull out bands. And you're just going to keep pulling these out until you get to the row you want to save. I had to do this with the tutorial too. And if you're anything like me, once I make a mistake, I can't stop staring at it. I've said it on many occasions with the tutorials that if there's a mess up, I just can't do it. Okay, so then you have them on like that. You feed it back through your loom. Doesn't want to go through. Okay, it's always best to do the center one first. So my center one is the yellow. I'm going to hook this here. And it gets very hard to stretch, so don't take off the paper clip until it's set on there. So hopefully you won't need this part of the tutorial. Unfortunately, I do this a lot, especially when I'm watching TV and trying to do this. I'm trying to go fast, and it's probably not a good idea. Okay, so once they're all on the one side, and you're just going to take that one side back over here, and then you can get back to your pattern. Nothing worse than getting it all done and then seeing and thinking you have to start all over. So hopefully this will help somebody. So if it does help you, text me. Let me know. Uh-oh. I think that one's supposed to go over here. Okay, so there you go. Then you just go back to where you were. And I'm not going to finish on because I didn't like the one in the first place, but there you go.